It's been a while since we've seen a new game from Hideo Kojima, and while he's definitely gearing up for a Death Stranding sequel, he's also got something else brewing at his studio for Xbox. In fact, we could potentially get a big reveal from him at Gamescom. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the Metal Gear creators' showcase plans and what that secret cloud title could be. First up, Kojima Productions is working on 2 games now. Hideo Kojima's easily one of, if not the most creative mind in video games. Over the past few decades, he's developed a bit of a habit of breaking the status quo. We mean, even something like Metal Gear Solid 2, which came out back in 2001, has aged incredibly well and still somehow manages to tackle modern issues. So in a way, the 58-year-old has kind of turned into an oracle as well. His last game, Death Stranding, didn't exactly get the plaudits that many people think it should have though. That said, it has grown on people over the past couple of years. In fact, with the whole global pandemic situation, you could argue that a lot of stuff in that title turned out to be true as well. Now, due to the nature and depth of his products, Kojima's been a one-game man for pretty much the entirety of his career, but as he grows older and expands his own studio, it seems like he started to take more of a Todd Howard role, and as a result, the legendary designer now has time to develop 2 games at the same time. Obviously, this doesn't mean that he's going to just release these 2 projects simultaneously. It's perhaps more akin to a studio like Insomniac that's got 2 separate teams working on stuff. Plus, since he's got a pretty flexible setup within his studio, he can pick and choose where more resources are needed. Next up is Kojima teasing a new reveal at Gamescom. Gamescom's easily one of the biggest video game conventions of the year. At the same time though, it's not really something that can rival that E3 season in terms of big game reveals. Of course, we're still going to see a bunch of cool stuff at Geoff Keighley's Open Night live showcase, but don't expect it to be anything like Summer Game Fest. Instead, it's a stage for gaming companies to show off their products to European audiences. So, you know, your Xboxes and Sonys will have their booths set up for people to try out their upcoming titles. Plus, we'll probably get some extra details on the other new stuff from these teams. For instance, a new trailer for Sonic Frontiers or Arcane's Redfall is probably going to be there. Having said that, a big reveal from someone like Hideo Kojima is pretty unlikely at these events. Of course, you can't write anything off when it comes to these things, but if he were to show off something big, we would have seen it at some point during E3. But then again, Kojima's a wily old fox and knows how to bamboozle everyone. Besides, if there's anything that could bring more eyeballs to Opening Night Live, it's a megaton announcement from the 58-year-old. Oh, and it's not just mere speculation. In fact, the games actually tease the fact that he's editing a trailer on his Twitter. Now, the image only shows a Premiere Pro timeline, so no one really knows what it is. Now, what is this mystery trailer that Hideo Kojima's working on? Okay, so the thing with Kojima's reveals is that it could literally turn out to be just a random feature drop for Death Stranding. Like, we did see something similar when he was hyping stuff up for E3 season, only for it to be the game's director's cut and PC release. Of course, these aren't small announcements, but they're not what the majority of his audience was looking for either. And to be fair, Gamescom is the perfect convention to reveal smaller stuff like that, rather than dropping the big news, since again, not a lot of people watch these showcases. Having said that, it was kind of bizarre how he just appeared at the Xbox showcase and went away without giving us any footage. We mean, obviously, he won't show anything until it's ready, but we know that he's ready to unveil his next big title, Overdose. If you don't know what that is, then let us jog your memory. You see, right before we were about to head into the E3 season, leaker extraordinaire Tom Henderson got his hands on a full trailer for the 58-year-old's game, which apparently was going to be a psychological thriller. Also, from the look of things, the trailer did seem like it was fully finished, so it was kind of surprising when Kojima decided not to show it off. At the same time though, he could just be taking things into his own hands and unveiling stuff on his terms rather than the leakers. But is Overdose the big Xbox exclusive from Kojima? Ever since the bitter divorce from Konami, Kojima's been on a new trajectory. We mean, before that, he was supposed to be working on that Silent Hills game with Guillermo del Toro, but after that project got scrapped, it seems like he wanted to show the publisher what he was capable of. So Overdose looks to be the direct answer to that. Obviously, you could say that even Death Stranding stemmed out of that original project, but in terms of sheer vibes and genre, this new title's definitely got a lot more in common. Having said that, he's probably not looking to make a one-to-one translation of Silent Hills, and has probably switched up a lot of stuff since then. This is where it gets complicated though. You see, Kojima's developing one game each for both Xbox and PlayStation, which leaves us kind of questioning where Overdose is supposed to slot in. Like, it's not a Strand game by any stretch of the imagination. At the same time, he did say that his ambitious Microsoft Cloud project is still not even close to completion. So considering how long development takes, especially for a Kojima game, we wouldn't be surprised if we're still many years away from getting that Xbox exclusive. And that could only mean one thing, that this is a Sony game instead. So is Overdose a sequel or spin-off to Death Stranding? Let's face it, Death Stranding was a pretty bizarre game and went in all sorts of directions, so honestly, we wouldn't be surprised if Overdose does turn out to be a sequel or a spin-off of sorts. We mean, with everything that's been rumored about Death Stranding 2, it's pretty unlikely that this was that project all along. Besides, even the main protagonist actor Norman Reedus has confirmed that he's working on the next project with Hideo Kojima. Plus, that first trailer for Overdose also had one of the actors from the first title. Now obviously, if that's the case, then we can pretty much guarantee that this will be a PlayStation exclusive, since Sony's still got the rights to the IP, well, on console at least. It'd be interesting to see if the 58-year-old decides to put it out on PC day one as well. Knowing how things usually go with projects that are exclusive to Sony's platform though, we'd say that the chances of that happening are pretty slim. But hey, when you're talking about Kojima Productions, nothing's impossible. So, for all intents and purposes, we could see the legendary designer's next big game at Gamescom 2022, which is set to take place from August 24th to 28th. And finally, this could also just be a nothing announcement. The prospect of seeing a new game from Kojima is definitely very exciting, and from his Twitter posts, it does seem like he's working on a brand new trailer for Overdose. That said, let's not get carried away, because at the end of the day, it's better to go in with low expectations and get surprised rather than going in expecting the world and getting disappointed. On top of that, despite multiple leaks and even full trailers, we've yet to get any official confirmation from the developer about the game's existence. Plus, he's not the type to drop a long trailer for a game's first showing. We mean, the whole Death Stranding reveal dragged on for years before anyone actually knew what the game even was. Oh, and then there's the Game Pass announcement. If you don't know, it's been confirmed that Death Stranding's heading to Microsoft's subscription service on PC and will be playable on August 23rd. So this could literally just be a trailer to advertise that. And judging by how significant of a convention Gamescom is and how these things usually pan out, we wouldn't hedge our bets against that happening. At the same time, it's kind of wild how Overdose leaked months ago with a fully finished trailer and we're yet to hear anything about it. Surely, they're not going to sit on it for much longer, right? But then again, it's Kojima that we're talking about. After all, it's his world and we're all just living in it. That's a wrap for this video. What do you hope to see from Kojima at this year's Gamescom? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.